Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final day of Optech 2025. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Eric Sharpe. And this is the Multifamily Weekday update.
Yes, and you'll be getting a lot of this content like wrapping up after a long week at Optech. And we have somebody very special here with us who is helping us do this kind of end of the day, end of the session kind of wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Paul Bergeron was kind of in the places we couldn't be. So welcome, Paul, and why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Paul Bergeron. I'm an industry reporter, apartment, commercial real estate, maybe 20 years worth of content I've been putting out. Come to as many events as I can, including Optech. This is probably my 10th or 12th, and they're always better. They're always getting better. It's been a fantastic show.
Yeah, we've asked a lot of people, so we'll ask you too, with the shift in who's involved with Retsy's involvement in Optech, what's something that you've noticed that's like something that you're really excited about, the change in the Optech format?
Well, this year is a little different. I give some credit to Chris Marino. We all know him. He put together a lot of the content, and some of the sessions have been like, I think they call it the Futures Lab or something, which is what this conference is really all about, is looking ahead and not looking behind. And the sessions were about 15 minutes, and there were lots of them. And they had vendors, supplier partners, on the stage giving delivery too. But you know what? They nailed it. They nailed it because it wasn't a commercial. They talked about trends and topics. They got all of their highest highlights and bullet points crammed into a 15-minute session so people could get that and move on to the next one. And they kept them going. It was just it was like a merry-go-round of great content.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Paul put together about a little over a baker's dozen worth of insights, sort of the high level. There's tons of stuff to talk about, but why don't you share a few things with us that kind of sit with you as you're walking away from Vegas today?
Well, like I said, I like to go to these conferences to find out what's going to happen next, not what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And one of the best sessions, which was hosted by Whitney Kidd at Priest and KP Reddy, who's a venture capitalist, and they talked all about robots. And if you're paying attention to anything, a lot of things right now, AI driven too, but very robotic. They have actual robots on the floor here. We've all seen those. They're kind of creepy and kind of fun and kind of weird. But KP was talking about using robots in apartment management and apartment construction. He was talking about how they are putting up drywall or painting. And somebody said, well, yeah, they're slower than a human, but they work 24/7. So,
Right.
you're not paying them an hourly wage and they're getting the work done. Plus they have the ability to reach difficult places in the building, unlike a person who might have short arms or can't reach something or whatever. So it seems like that's probably one of the future things. And I think when we get back here next year, or even during the course of the year with the other conferences, robotics is going to be coming up a little bit. So don't let it scare you. Don't think it's stupid or weird, but pay attention to it. Pay attention to it.
Yeah, well, it especially makes sense on the construction side, development side. We are a little bit stifled right now on accessing human capital there, right? And why not reduce the risk while you're building a building?
Yeah. And I mean, maybe the robotic dog is a little weird because, I don't know the use case for that. But
Nighttime security dog. Yes.
I did see, so, in the Futures Lab that you were in, we saw the vacuum happening.
Right.
It's a great, great example. Like I want one of those in my house.
And on the casino floor, but they were also talking about how the price of these things is coming down. And I don't know if anyone's actually priced them. I had no idea this, but you can buy a used robot on eBay. Okay. It's like $5,000 to $8,000 and you buy it and you can reprogram it. And I'm like, wow, is that some special skill where you need to understand robots and how to do the software? No, you just use ChatGPT and ask it, command it for what you want to write code. And they're like, this took 10 minutes. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
Please don't give this guy any other ideas. Let's go on to the next one. Yeah. That's very cool though. Very cool.
And he went as far as to say that when you're designing your properties now, new ones, you think about, okay, well, what could robots do for you? Also landscaping. He said you have to be conscientious of the way your common area is laid out. Will a robotic lawnmower be able to get through and navigate the land in your common area if you really want to leverage it?
That's interesting.
Made perfect sense.
Well, and ultimately robots are there to assist, right? So for example, if you're in maintenance, having a robot might be very beneficial to you, especially if you're short-staffed on the
Yeah,
maintenance side.
very cool. What
Par-
else? What else you got for us?
Pardon my French, but the other thing KP said was that the robots will take care of all the shit that people don't want to do.
I mean, it's accurate. It's accurate, right? That
Yeah.
people want a better job, a different job, right? They won't want to spend time cleaning stuff up. So yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Let's see. What else did I really jumped out at me? I think that somebody summarized AI, and I'm not going to spend the whole show talking about AI, but it is pretty amazing. And they pointed out that AI is really a reactive technology, not a proactive technology. And what the industry needs to do is to find a way to make it be proactive. Well, one of those things is through maintenance work orders. And there were several sessions here that dealt with that. And those companies that were talking about their products were talking about the predictive analytics behind maintenance work orders. So that way, you know what needs to be done. And yeah, we all know preventive maintenance, but let's just make it easier and have the software do it for us so our guys or girls can do the work.
Right.
And he said basically with predictive analytics with maintenance work orders, what's better than to not have a work order? Well, if you've taken care of stuff in advance, then you don't even have to have a work order.
Right.
So that makes things even better. So let's look at AI as our industry needs to get AI to be more proactive rather than reactive.
Right. That's a good call out. I think, everyone's catching up and still learning, but I think if we go down a rabbit hole of just being reactive, we're not developing that other side of its value.
You got it. You got it. And there was another interesting session that had Jamie Gorski, who is an industry veteran. I think we all know Jamie, and Tammy Searook, I believe is how she pronounces it. They talked about a lot of things, and Jamie put up a slide. And by the way, a lot of these things we're talking about, people can find on my LinkedIn page if they want to follow up and ask me questions or ask the speakers questions. Well, I put Jamie's slide up because it talked about the progression of a leasing agent using AI. And she admits, she said, every company has their own way of doing things. This is just a guideline, but it was a very fascinating slide that showed how AI could be worked into your leasing agent's workflow.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend checking that out.
Well, speaking of being preventative, a lot of folks brought interesting booths to this year's convention. Some folks prepared 6, 7, 8 months in advance, and some folks prepared a month or two in advance.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was talking to a few people. Diana Norbury, you might know her from Pillar, and she's just like, the booths this year are just so much better than ever in terms of being very polished and interesting and professional and engaging. But I walked into the trade show floor, and one of the first booths I saw was for a company called AppWork. And again, if you look at my LinkedIn page, there's a picture of it. And basically what they did is they took a bunch of stupid old cardboard boxes and stacked them up into a pile of garbage with tape and everything. And they put a big handwritten sign at the top that said, "We spent all our money on our product and our clients, not on our booth." So I took a picture of that and I put it on LinkedIn. And, if you're into LinkedIn, you always want to see how many impressions are popular and what people are trending with. This thing has like 4,000 impressions on it, this picture. People love this booth.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's going against the grain ultimately, right? I mean, especially in a world where, companies are raising, $100 million plus rounds. You have a company like AppWork, which is at Series A right now and very much so growing. And they're just, kind of poking at the bear a little bit here and saying, look, we're spending our time and energy in the right place.
Right. I will devil's advocate and say there was a lot of effort that was put into it. Right. So there was effort. I did years ago at an Apartmentalize, I did see someone try to do something similar.
Really?
However, it wasn't flashy enough because they just literally hung a sign. So it looked like, that person didn't show up. That person didn't. I mean, it was truly, and if you read the sign, it said something similar to that nature. But this was, I think they leaned into what was lame, right? They leaned into the lame of the booth, and it was cool.
Well, that was my first impression too. I thought, well, gosh, maybe they shipped their booth and maybe FedEx, maybe it fell off the plane or something.
I've
They
been
didn't
there a
have
few
anything in
times.
time and they had to improvise. But no, they said that the whole team came together and came up with the concept. Now, another really great concept outside of the trade show floor was a company that a lot of people I think know now called Built, B-I-L-T, Built. Margette Hefner is one of the leaders, and I think Doug Bibby too, are involved in that. It's a loyalty program for your renters. In other words, you get frequent flyer miles when you pay your rent, which when you stop and think about it, why has it taken the industry so long to jump on that bandwagon? But they have jumped on it.
Yeah. We got to chat with her a little bit. So we have some, additional information, which we have. You can find out more about it. I do want to know, did you have a coffee?
Oh yeah.
What was your coffee drink?
Yeah. Again, it's on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There's a picture of it. You walk into the main area of the conference and you see this literally looks like a shop. It looks like a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And it says Built Cafe or something like that. And they're serving coffee, which isn't a new thing, but it was really sort of elegantly put together and very professional and businesslike. And oh my God, there was a line the whole freaking time. And it's a nice concept. I don't know how much it cost them, but it was
probably a lot.
Yeah.
Probably a decent amount. Yeah, there's a lot of thought put into it. They definitely prepared more than a few months in advance for that. But it is reminiscent. It's reminiscent of, Capital One has cafes in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago,
and in Vegas.
a decade ago. Yes, yeah. And in Vegas.
Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Oh, really? Interesting.
Two.
I did not know this. I need to get out more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll show you where they are.
We're a bank that serves coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's that commerce and community. It's like that, right? That's the vibe. But it was very cool and right there, right across from the letters. So very awesome.
So did you get a hot coffee,
I usually am a double espresso guy.
Double espresso?
Yeah. Nothing in it, just black as black.
Did it warm you up as the weather changed?
Oh my God. For those who thought Vegas would be some poolside time out here to come early, for those of you who didn't know, I think it was like 51 degrees and drizzling all day yesterday, which was just bizarre. So luckily everything was inside, and the casinos, of course, love it when it rains.
There was a flash flood. I mean, there was a flash flood warning because, we're in the desert and the rain can't go anywhere. Yeah.
So what are some more things here that you gathered?
Well, those were kind of the highest points. Jamie and the robots. Fee transparency is always a big topic, and there was a session on that this morning with Jay Harris. If you know Jay, I kind of feel like he's one of the resident experts on this topic. He had a panel up there. So I think people are a little bit worried about some of the rules that are coming down the road with regard to that in states. And he put up a list of where is it going on now? Where is it coming? Again, I've got this on my LinkedIn. Which states are kicking around new bills and things. I know San Diego has something going on right now that I wrote about. For those who don't know, I write for Globe Street. So that's a commercial real estate news site, and I cover all the asset classes, including multifamily.
Yeah, very cool. I have two quick things. One is, you said Jamie and the Robots, and I think that's an awesome band name. So if she's Jamie and the Robots, like, guys, I don't know if she plays an instrument, but if there is a Jamie out there that plays, that's a great band name. Also, as a reporter, just beyond Optech, for people like us or anyone, people at companies that have to act as their reporter to bring stuff back for their companies, what's a couple pieces of advice you would say, like when you go to an event? How do you kind of structure your time there?
How do I, as a reporter, structure my time at the conference?
If you were advising other people to do that, like what are some things to think about?
Well, okay. Yeah. No one's ever asked me that. My rule is sit in the front, okay? Because you are focused on the presentation. You're not going to be distracted with your phone and everything. Be focused and look at the speakers. Take notes. Yeah, you kind of have to have a training to understand what the real sound bites are, which is why I use LinkedIn for that. But really just take notes and think about what this is going to apply to your job and the way your company does things. And then even better, if you go to multiple sessions in a day for multiple days, you don't want to wait till you get home to sort of transcribe the notes, because guess what? You're not going to be able to read certain words that you wrote. You might not remember why you wrote it down.
Sure.
It's important to try to do it at the end of each day, or even more frequently. That way you've got a bigger grasp on what you've learned. And then you go back and you meet with your supervisor or your executive team or whatever, and you just try to make it short and sweet, and then let them ask follow-up questions. Nobody wants to be told 15 minutes about a topic they don't care about.
Right. Good stuff.
Paul, why should owners and operators come next year to Optech?
Well, like I said, this is the conference that talks more about the future, and I don't see why you would want to miss this. I mean, this is not apartmentalized. This is not AIM. Those both have their own qualities in their own way. Those are regular stops for me on the conference tour. But Optech really wants to focus on the operations of technology, and you never know what you're going to learn or what they're going to present to you. I mean, people keep saying, well, what was the buzzword from the conference? And I tell them, I go, I think it's robotics. I really do. I mean, I think we've had centralization as a buzzword. We've had transparency as a buzzword. We've had resident screening as a buzzword. But keep your eye on the robotics side of things. Just think how fast these technologies advance. And we've got 12 months before we come back here again.
Awesome. Well, that's it. So make sure to follow Paul.
Yeah, where can we find you, Paul?
LinkedIn
And
Bergeron, or Globe Street. Now, I should
look for
say,
those bylines.
if you read Globe Street, and maybe we don't have time for this story, but my byline in Globe Street is Richard Berger. Okay, it's not Paul Bergeron.
Oh, very interesting.
That's a good call out, because
it's all good.
Yeah,
There's nothing, no funny business. But if you catch me later, I'll explain why.
Okay, well,
That's a very good story.
Hey, there you go. Very good. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Yeah.